Hey people, Intrid here, 2v2, Calderis Refinery, blue team. oLev with an Apothecary, support hero fighting in melee combat. By default, begins with a heal and a passive health regeneration aura. Got some Dark Angels. Alongside, PickPacker, as the Plague Champion, starts off with a damage over time bolt gun, can get melee weapons, some strong utility and support, can also repair. What do we got here on PickPacker? Some Black Legion. Fear on the red team with a Lord Commissar, strong offense and support fighting in melee begins with a Refractor Shield. And rounding off the teams, Rambo with a Warlock, a melee spellcaster that leaps into combat, some powerful disruption and support, off running somewhere to the mid, trying to grab that central VP. So on this map, one player looks after both of the natural power points for their team. On the right side here, the east, it's Rambo for the red team. On the west side, it's going to be oLev looking after these two natural power points. A lot of pressure on that side to not mess up. Sentinel being repaired and getting some shots on some scouts, trying to grab a model of them, but they backed off in time. Lord Commissar did not have the shield up, so took some health damage. There we go, shield is up. More guardsmen joining the fray, but their las guns aren't up to much against those Marines. Need to try and focus down the scouts, who took a circuitous route to try and get to that cover. Maybe they should have gone around the back. Maybe they shouldn't have tried to get there at all. Over on the east side, I see some stinking Nurgle bolt gun fire, but they've been backed off by triple Guardian Pew Pew. Warlock busy capping. Plague Champion takes heavy cover, but may not be able to outshoot all of them. I wonder if some of them will try to get around the side here. Here comes some more Chaos Space Marines for PickPacker, the second squad. Their bolt guns will be very handy here. They could try to get into melee perhaps as well, but then a Warlock could leap on them and knock them over maybe. Back to the west side. Still pressure here from Fear. Apothecary heals himself, needs to run though. Marines, did he drop a model, fellas? Maybe. I mean, they're back up to 3 now. Devastator's on the way for oLev. If you don't get a third unit out quickly for Space Marines, you can get pushed back very early on. They did not get more scouts up, but they didn't get double tax either. Having to wait for those Devastators has set them back slightly, but they should be able to break out with this. The heavy bolt gun counters all of this stuff pretty well. Rangers on the field for Rambo. Red team pushing both sides. Warlock getting very low, but should be fine. Here's double CSM with Heretic support and that Plague Champion. There's some Nurgle worship for the 3.5 health regen. No Eternal War up yet, and the Plague Champion getting focused and goes down. Nicely done by Rambo, using the hollow fields to lie in wait and focus down that guy with a ranger shot and a bunch of Guardian Shuriken fire. The Tactical Marines, you gonna be alright, fellas? Amazingly, did not drop a model. Turret causing problems here for oLev. Multi-laser turret. Apothecary trying to get in there and tie things up. Maybe there's vengeance rounds from the Devastators trying to take out that turret. That turret is causing huge problems. Is it worth getting a flamer? They're going for a flamer, and they have double Devastators now. But this is huge, very effective pressure from Fear. Can they bash some power though? Maybe it was worth investing in a flamer loadout for one of those guys. Devastators drop a model. They're trying to move up a bit. Doesn't want to move up too far in one movement, because they could get overextended like that and caught in a bad spot. They were trying to get behind the heavy cover of the pipe. Tax get a heal. Lord Commissar on them in a flash. Does not have the power sword though. They are double Kadachan Devils now, Fear. This is really bad news. These guys can counter, or at least help you counter Devastators with their disruption. More gens going up. I'm not sure how many they've lost. It might just be one. Good stomp from the Sentinel. Now needs to be careful. Tax still haven't dropped a model here, but they might be close to it. Kadachan Devils do have power melee damage, so if they could get into melee with them, they'll slice them up pretty well with those power melee knives they have, but the Tax did drop a model anyway. Triple Devastators here for oLev. These guys trying to set up. Well, they're getting wrecked by las gunfire. There's a disruption from the Catechans. Keeps them in play. No, they don't. They're off the field. Catechans ready to disrupt. There it is, a shotgun blast this time, and Apothecary is going to go down to their power melee. oLev having a torrid time on this side so far. They still have the power though. There we go, now it's being bashed. So all they've really missed out on is having the VP. There goes a bunker on the VP, and they have dropped models here and there, of course. But it would have been way, way worse if their power was completely bashed and locked down. oLev maybe should have, Fear should have put more effort into bashing power, I think. Really surprised we didn't see Flamer on any of the guardsmen. There's a smoke grenade popped by those Catechans. What's going on the east side? Red team doing very well here as well. Merciless Switchblade for the Warlock. Awesome weapon. And those Rangers doing some work, I'm sure. Got a little bit of XP. We got battle equipment up on all of the Guardians. They have grenades and shields and things. Back to the west side. It's Raptors jumping in. PickPacker coming to help out. oLev, I think maybe they should have gone Devastators into Assault Squad. Would have been dicey because of the double Catechans, but they might have been able to break out sooner. The jump going in. It might have been too risky though when they saw those double Catechans, or maybe even when they saw one of them. Catechans alongside a Power Sword Lord Commissar can really mess up an Assault Squad. There's lots of disruption and power melee there. Flame attacks, flaming stuff. What are these guys up to? They are stuck. I've never seen that before. They just can't get through this gap, I guess. And that's where they placed the door. So they are screwed. Oh, some of them have got away, look. Because these guys now have the HQ damage resistance aura. Because these guys are back at HQ. That is very strange. Can they destroy these models here? They should be able to. The Sergeant isn't in there, so they should be able to die. Raptors jump for the suppression, and then they flee. No grenades came in, but the Warlock was there. Doesn't do power melee, but it's big damage, this thing. 65 melee DPS, but he attacks quite slowly, so I think it's like 120 or 130 per hit. It's painful. And he's got the energy drain and a knockback on the ranged attack. Awesome weapon. Lord Commissar executing the Catechans for double damage. And their shotguns shredding that Apothecary, as you see. They got suppressed afterwards. And they might have taken down the Apothecary if it wasn't for that suppression. Blade Champion runs away. No war gear. I imagine, yeah, no war gear for oLev. They spent all their power on Devastators. These guys are still alive, which is very odd. Because they're shooting, and they have heavy cover all around them. There we go. There's some flamer action doing extra damage to units in cover, but they are leaving them alone. Maybe they see that they're stuck and they don't want to wipe them out. They don't know that it's not the entire squad there, so they wouldn't actually wipe. Where's the rest of them though? That's the rest of them there. So there's not much left over there. Meanwhile, 2-1 cap for red still. Blue team very behind in VPs, but oLev has broken out. Actually grabbed that wreck point even, and is shutting down the approach with Devastators and their heavy bolt guns. Did only one of them get the... one of them got advanced targeting for vengeance rounds over on the east side. The attacks of oLev coming to bash the power, which is of course only over here. Blade Champion goes to the VP. They are supported by Chaos Space Marines, which is quite a lot of heresy. Tier 3 for Rambo, and a Manticore on the way for Fear to try and counter these setup teams. Warlock leaps in, starts busting heads, does a fancy special attack and hits it. Raptor jump. They missed the Guardians. They couldn't get their suppression off. There's a heal on attacks. Apothecary shows up just in time. Decent grenade attempted. TSM getting into melee combat here. Grenade is dodged. Killed a ranger. That puts a little bit of power pressure on. There's a grenade. They grenaded themselves, those Guardians. almost wiped themselves out. There's still guardsmen over here. They're reinforcing. They've made this a medical bunker, oLev, so they're reinforcing of it. 147 to 455. So a Manticore Stripe, got a Librarian on the way for oLev. Plague Marines on the way for PickPacker. Sentinel still doing its job. Almost level 3. Doesn't have a missile launcher yet. Map looking much bluer, much healthier for the blue team. Heretics are coming and nurse Nurgle worship. Rangers are indeed still up. Could maybe set up grenades with Kinetic Pulse. Raptors get the hell out of here. There's Kinetic Pulse on the core Plague Champion. Can they finish off this gen? Maybe. Couple of CSM. No Eternal War. Can they get it done? Risky. They do get it done. It's well judged in the end by PickPacker. oLev continues pressure down this west side. Using the Apothecary quite defensively now. Purification vials are in. There's that Librarian. Throw Veil of Time on the Devastators so that they can move without setting up and tearing down their weapons. Still drop to model though. They can reinforce off the bunker. Triple cap for the blue team. This is Rambo hitting back up the east side. Warlock's on the central VP as well. And they're getting their natural back. Apothecary now leading the line. Don't really have much to get the Manticore with. Only the advanced targeting, which would be enough, especially if it catches it on rear armor. Got a little burst there. A little burst. Explosives going up. Don't see any. There's an Inspire Courage to buff the damage with the Catechins a little bit early. But now they're able to bring their weapons to bear, just shredding through those heretics. Almost wiped them. They do wipe them. Those guys weren't upgraded, so it's not a massive loss for PickPacker. I guess requisition pressure at this point is a big loss. Having to replace those guys would be a pain in the ass. But they have a Chaos Predator. They can repair with the Plague Champion, but having Nurgle Worship is really nice throughout the game. Lord Commissar goes down. Not sure what they're up to. Are they trying to get vision for the Manticore? No, Manticore's too far away. I don't know why they pushed in there. That was very odd. Now, how do they respond to the tank? Avatar of Cain on the way for Rambo. Warlock couldn't quite get the decap there. Raptors jumping after him, but can't get any hits. Librarian being annoying with his Force Staff and his Force Barrier. Annoying these guardsmen over here. Sentinel stomped him. Scouts grabbing the wreck point. Blue team looking pretty good at the moment. Ogren's on the way for Fear. I just don't think Fear was able to mess up that power enough to really cause a massive problem. Such a good push early on, but you gotta punish your opponent by bashing that power. How many? They're down to 2 Devastator squads now. Purification Vial throw. Misses, but does get them off the wreck point. Here come the Eldar. Might be able to get some grenades on retreat here if they can force a retreat. Veil of Time on those devs, but they did not like the position they were in. Librarian gets a good special. Yeah, they couldn't quite get into position and get on their feet in time to chuck a good grenade there. Well played, Librarian. Good disruption. Librarian needs to be careful. Pops quickening and then runs. What is this? There's an Avatar fighting a tank very far forward, this Avatar. Super unit for Eldar. Tons of hit points. Super heavy infantry armor. Powerful combatant and provides passive, very powerful buffs to nearby allied infantry. We see the Catechins benefiting from it here. And they assassinate the Plague Champion with shotguns. Still chasing a tank. It's an unmarked tank, but here comes another one from PickPacker. Doing some good damage to the Avatar as it drives away. Double Catechins both have their Sarge, who has a melter gun. They could finish off the tank if they get close to it. Meanwhile, west side, this bunker is now red, and there's no guardsman there anymore. Fear has lost the sentinel. Grenade goes in. It's a purification grenade. Not sure why they did that. There was nothing in the bunker, wasn't there? Maybe they thought there was. Catechins with the distortion field from Rambo to help them out on their retreat. I don't think they needed it, but maybe it saved a model or two. Missile launch attacks now for oLev. Maybe they want to go after that Manticore when they push through. For Commissar with stubbornness and carapace armor. Guardsmen are now inside the bunker, and down it goes, wiping the guardsmen. I'm not sure why Fear got in there. It was so low. A little bit odd. Double tanks in the mid. Plague Champion still down. And oh, there are heretics to repair them, but they're running. Rambo up the east side, capping everything. Warlock level 2 with that merciless Witchblade. Avatars almost fully healed up, but a fire prism now too. Awesome fire support and disruption from long range, but it is quite a delicate vehicle. 500 hit points does not last very long against hard AV, especially if they're getting rear armor hits on you. Plague Champion revived. Apothecary hits level 3. Tax didn't want a firefight with double Catechins, eating a grenade launcher barrage thing. Some upgrades for those Raptors. There's the vials. Gets them to run. Then the Raptors jump into the vials. Do they want to be purified? No, they don't want to be purified. They're quite happy the way they are. All chaotic like. Here comes a Warlock. Knocks over the Apothecary with the range attack. And then dies to tank Raptors with a staggered jump. Where's the rest of them? There they are. Avatar comes to say hello. Big swing. Probably does 160 damage or so per swing, I would say. With some amount of splash damage. I'm not sure how much it is. I think the Great Unclean one is 200 damage per swing or 180. It doesn't do that splash damage. Well played, Librarian. Awesomely done by oLev using Gate of Infinity to get those guys out of the Wailing Doom there. That was very cool. 127 to 150. Avatar's been infiltrated by hollow fields. Fire Prism getting shots in. There's a las cannon as well, so the tanks can't get close without some risk. oLev floating resources a lot. I'm not sure what they are waiting for. They can get anything right now. Could get a Land Raider, could get Terminators, could get a tank. But they are focused on the fighting, I suppose, at the moment. Librarian, is he going to be alright? Big swings by the Avatar. Retreating units, of course, taking 30% more melee damage. Terminators. It is indeed Terminators for PickPacker. Avatar comes to say hello. Stabs him. Plague Champion repairing. There's some Nurgle worship as well, which does affect vehicles these days. One of the great changes in Elite mod. And we got some Terminators for oLev. Going for Assault Cannon for huge single target anti-infantry DPS. And it suppresses. Does enough courage damage to suppress by itself, I believe. Plasma Guardsmen, though, are a relatively decent cost-effective counter to Terminators. Especially if you have a way to reinforce them nearby. Terminators coming into melee. Taking a lot of damage. That is an Eldritch, is it? No, it's a Singularity. There's a D-cannon somewhere. Oh, over there then. Oh, awesome throw of the vials on those Eldar things. Apothecary did go down. Terminator's still around. Raptors jumping in. They're going to wipe out the las cannon. There we go. Terminators with the inspiration on kill. Nothing really close enough to inspire though, and they teleport away. Awesome little push there from oLev. Really well judged. I mean, they lost their Apothecary. I guess they didn't judge that part. But maybe they can get revived. Where's the plate champion? Here he is. No war gear for this guy still. Might be able to get a revive. There's a lot of guns looking at him though. Including a fire prism knocking him down. Tanks came a bit too close. Taking fire prism shots 105 to 134. It's very close on the VPs. Blue team hanging on to a 2v1. Wailing Doom coming in. Is it going to hit those heretics? It hit that one heretic. Terminators drop a model. To be careful, fellas. Oh no, both of them went down, look. Maybe Laraman's blessing then from oLev to get them both on the field. Is it 125 groups? I think it's 125 red. Something around that. Fire prism's incredibly low. They got the tank though. They got both tanks. Manticore, what level are you, bud? Almost level 2. Has the Storm Eagle for bigger rockets. VPs are evened up at 105. Red team trying to decap the mid with Rangers. And they get it. They get the decap at least. Under infiltration there. Plasma cannon on the way for oLev. That's weird. The sign for that Wailing Doom stayed there. Oh, it goes away when they both. Okay. I think they lined it up and then cancelled it, and the marker stayed there until the other one was complete. oLev's Terminators have been reinforced. The Chaos Terminators with an auto cannon. Big ranged firepower just from those 2 Terminator squads. And some Mark of Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines too. Adds to their anti-infantry damage without getting a aspiring champion, which would have added to population as well. And very effective against the Avatar too. Eldritch Storm. Blue team have the mid though, 105.98, very close on the VPs. Avatar leads the line, buffing all of this stuff, giving suppression immunity if they're close enough. So this thing won't suppress anything. Terminators teleport away from the Wailing Doom. Didn't teleport very far though, I thought they teleport backwards, they teleported forwards. Now Mark of Tzeentch, CSM can plant their feet and get shots in. 2 of them, although one of them only has a single model. And there's no aspiring champions for the demonic plasma guns. 105.78. Lord Commissar trying to grab the VP. Raptors jump on the Rangers. Warlock's not happy with it. What was that? What just knocked off the Commissar there? Not sure. Heretics with a single model. I mean, you can still worship Nurgle, and there's only one of you. That's a singularity there from the D-cannon. Oh no! Pulls in some allied guardsmen who almost wipe. Only the Sergeant and the Commissar survive. Well, maybe not. Only the Sergeant alive, 3 hit points. They tried to shut them down with the Basilisk Flare, but they teleport forward and they get those guardsmen down. Some Nurgle worship from that single heretic. 1-to-1 cap here. Land Raider Phobos on the way for PickPacker. Fear did not get to tier 3, by the way. Maybe they're looking to do that now. They have tons of power and decent requisition income, having lost those guardsmen and stuff. They did get more guardsmen up to help repair things. They've got a bunker back there. Looks like it's a medical bunker, so they can all reinforce off it, get a little bit of health regen too. Hollow fields and a smoke grenade up. Commissar should get a cap here, I think. I believe it gives, is it 55% damage reduction, the smoke grenade, and suppression immunity, something like that. It might be 50%. Can they do it? Smoke grenade's worn off, throws up the shield, and gets the cap. Can they make it out now? Well, Commissar tries to make it out, and does. That's a singularity, which will toss Terminators around, so they have to get out of it. And got some tax there. Now what is it on there? It's CSM on the cap. Grenades are going to go in. And they all missed. I don't think they would have even hit them if they didn't move. Maybe they would have knocked them back though still. Yeah, the CSM barely made it out of there. Red team retained the mid, 84-62. Hasn't really been any moves on the natural victory points. I feel like the red team's one has been, well, maybe not super open. There's some stuff over there. Where is that Phobos? Here it is. Las cannons on the side sponsons. Can do a dirge caster. Now they've spotted it. Terminator's down to 2 models still. Might be worth getting a Shriner PickPacker. They certainly have the resources. They might be saving for a second Terminator squad. No, they just purchased something. I'm not sure what it was. Might have just been reinforcing things. 59-62. Continues to be incredibly close. Here comes a Lord Commissar to harass the natural victory point. Gonna tie up the Terminators maybe? Oh, there's Game Infinity. Really? They felt the need to gate them away from the Lord Commissar. Doesn't even have a weapon upgrade. Catachan's going for a decap. This could be a clutch decap right here. Can they tough it out? Level 3, they can. Need to run though. Maybe? They didn't run. They died in little bits. Plague Champion now with Plague Fist and Armor of Pestilence. Great for capping because of Pestilence Strike. Terminator's getting very low over there, taking plasma gun shots. Phobos pushed up for some, maybe trying to go after the Manticore. And it might pay for it. But there's a Wailing Doom. Trying to get away, out the side. Mines dropped in. Fire Prism might be able to get it done. Phobos holding on. Nope, Fire Prism gets it down. I'm not sure why it was pushed up so hard. PickPacker now down to just 2 units on the field. Takes out the Fire Prism though. Plague Champion dealing with it. Throws up that Pestilent Strike. I think they're out of range of it now though. Might need to run. If only they had Icon of Nobel in there, they would have been messing up all that stuff. Here's a Providence Warlock running in. 38-42. PickPacker gets more Terminators. Where's the other fellas though? They're getting messed up. You need to reinforce. I don't think they have the requisition to do it though. And the Plague Champion fell. Maybe oLev could pick them up with a heal. Just throw a heal out as long as your ally knows you're doing it, because they're going to need to run. Wailing Doom into Manticore. Quite nasty. 38-35. Warlock is capping the mid. I feel like red team have the momentum here with that Land Raider downing. Look at the float from oLev. What are they waiting for? They're waiting for the cooldown for more Terminators, maybe. You've got to think that a Land Raider Redeemer... Maybe they just didn't want to get Land Raider Redeemer because of the Eldritch Storm stuff. Eldritch Storm and an Avatar running in would have been enough to take out a Land Raider, probably. Especially with Fire Prism getting shots in and stuff. 2 Terminators with 2 models each. 20-35 on the VPs. Terminators are capping, but there's a singularity. Angels of Death is popped by oLev. 50% damage reduction. Still not purchasing a unit though. 20-35. They must be waiting for the Terminator cooldown. Because they're a tough unit to have that can cap. There's a heal. Singularity catches those Chaos Terminators really well. 1-to-1 cap now. Sneaky Tactical Marines with their fast capping get on their natural. Clutch decap for oLev over there. Down to 14 VPs. Their own natural gets decapped though by Sneaky Catachan Devils, and I don't think they've realised it's a no cap game right now. Oh, those guys couldn't finish the cap. I think they'll grab the mid back, but they're going to lose their natural, and that'll be a 2-to-1, and that might be enough. It's a single right now. oLev, so many resources. Did not spend them. Might have made a difference if they did. There's the 2-to-1, and that's going to be the game, I think, for the red team. What a close one though. Awesome stuff. Huge pressure on oLev. They had a level 7 Apothecary. Huge pressure early on. Perhaps didn't bash the power as much as they could have. Fear, because blue team really came out swinging in tier 2. Plague champion was level 5. That big push at the end with the Phobos, I'm not sure exactly what the idea was. It must have been that they were trying to get that Manticore or something. But you got to be so careful pushing a massive Land Raider up against Eldar and stuff. Level 7 Lord Commissar for Fear, solid throughout. And Rambo, a level 3 Warlock, also very solid up that east side. There you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you next time.